You ever wonder why, before you're about to experience something incredible, you feel like everything is falling apart? Like the world is closing in on you, and no matter what you do, you just can't escape the pressure, the pain, the doubt. You might even feel like you're being tested, and you're being refined. This is the spiritual furnace that every chosen one must go through before their quantum leap. Now, let's get something clear. Pain isn't just a side effect of growth, it's the catalyst. It's the universe's way of shaking you up, breaking you down, and preparing you for something far greater than you could have imagined. You may have heard the phrase diamonds are made under pressure 1,000 times. But have you ever stopped to think about it in terms of your spiritual journey? The pain you're experiencing isn't there to punish you, it's there to polish you. You are being prepared for something monumental, something that will elevate you into the top 1%. But the question is, are you ready to endure the heat?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Let's dig deeper into this. Why do we experience spiritual pain before a quantum leap? What's the purpose behind it? The answer lies in the very nature of a quantum leap itself. A quantum leap is not a gradual, linear progression. It's a sudden, massive shift from one state of being to another. It's like going from crawling to flying in an instant. But for that massive shift to happen, there's something that needs to be cleared out: your old self. The parts of you that are still clinging to fear, doubt, insecurity, they can't come with you. Think about it like this: you're a vessel. Right now, that vessel is filled with old patterns, beliefs, and limitations that have been holding you back. The spiritual pain you're experiencing is the process of emptying that vessel. It's uncomfortable. It's disorienting. But it's also necessary. You can't fill a cup that's already full, right? So the universe is emptying you out, creating space for the new, higher version of yourself to emerge. But here's the thing: this process doesn't feel like a gift when you're in the middle of it. It feels like loss. It feels like confusion. It feels like you're being stripped of everything that made sense to you. And in a way, you are. The ego, the part of you that's attached to the old ways of being, is fighting to hold on. It resists the change, and that resistance is where the pain comes from. Have you ever wondered why you resist the very thing you know will set you free? That's the ego at work. The ego is terrified of change, because change means the unknown, and the ego thrives on familiarity. So when you're on the verge of a quantum leap, the ego starts to panic. It wants to keep you where you are, even if where you are is painful or limiting. It would rather you stay small and safe than risk stepping into the unknown. But here's the truth: the unknown is exactly where your quantum leap awaits. So how do you navigate this pain? How do you deal with the spiritual discomfort that seems to come out of nowhere? The answer is surrender. And I don't mean giving up. I mean letting go of the need to control the process. Letting go of the need to understand every step of the journey. Because here's the secret: you're not supposed to understand it all right now. You're supposed to trust it. You're supposed to let the universe do its work. The more you resist, the more painful the process becomes. But when you surrender, when you allow the universe to strip away everything that no longer serves you, you create the space for your quantum leap to happen. You move from resistance to flow, and in that flow, miracles happen. Now, I want you to think about your own life. Think about the times when you felt the most pain, the most confusion, the most lost. Did those moments lead to a breakthrough? Did something inside you shift? If you're honest with yourself, you'll realize that every time you've been through a period of intense spiritual pain, you've come out the other side stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your true self. That's not a coincidence. That's the pattern. That's the process. So here's the deep question I want you to ask yourself. What is the pain in your life trying to teach you right now? What part of your old self is being burned away in the spiritual furnace? Because once you understand that, you can stop resisting and start embracing the process. You can shift your perspective from why is this happening to me, to what is this preparing me for? You see, the chosen ones, the top 1%, don't shy away from spiritual pain. They don't run from it. They face it head-on because they understand that it's a sign that something big is about to happen. They know that the universe is preparing them for their next quantum leap, and they're willing to endure the discomfort because they know what's on the other side. But here's the thing, most people never make it to the other side. They get stuck in the pain. They resist it. They try to numb it or avoid it, and in doing so they miss the leap. They stay in the same patterns, the same cycles, because they're too afraid to let go. But you're different. You're here because you're ready for more. You're here because you know, deep down, that you're meant for something greater. So, the next time you find yourself in the midst of spiritual pain, remind yourself that this is part of the process. This is the universe clearing the way for your next quantum leap. And the sooner you embrace it, the sooner you'll step into that higher version of yourself, the version that's operating at the top 1%. You might be wondering, why does it have to hurt so much? Why can't spiritual growth be smooth, like slipping into a warm bath? I get it. We all want that easy transformation, that effortless leap into greatness. But the truth is, radical transformation requires radical discomfort. And here's where it gets real. The closer you are to a quantum leap, the more intense the pain becomes. It's like the universe is saying, are you ready? Really ready? Because once you leap, there's no going back. Let's break this down. Before any major breakthrough, there's always a breaking point. It's that moment when you feel like you can't take it anymore, when you're about to throw in the towel, give up, and retreat to the safety of your comfort zone. But here's what I want you to understand. The breaking point is not a sign that you've failed. It's a sign that your breakthrough is imminent. I think about it like this: when a seed is planted in the ground, it's buried in darkness. It's surrounded by dirt, by pressure. It's isolated. But what happens next? That seed doesn't just lie there. It breaks open. It shatters its outer shell so that new life can emerge. That breaking is necessary. Without it, the seed would never transform into the flower, the tree, the towering oak. It would stay small, contained, limited. You are that seed, and the spiritual pain you're feeling is the pressure that's cracking you open. It's breaking you out of your old shell, your old limitations, your old identity. But here's the catch: you have to let it. You have to surrender to the breaking point, even when it feels like you're losing everything. Because the truth is, you're not losing anything, you're being reborn. So why does this breaking point hurt so much? Why does it feel like everything is crumbling when really, it's just beginning? The answer lies in the nature of identity. We cling to who we think we are. We cling to our stories, our beliefs, our past experiences, because they make us feel safe. Even if those stories are limiting, even if those beliefs are keeping us small, they're familiar. And as human beings, we find comfort in the familiar, even when it's painful. But here's the thing: you can't take your old identity with you into your new life. You can't hold on to the version of yourself that's rooted in fear, doubt, and insecurity and expect to experience a quantum leap. That version of you has to die. And just like physical death, the death of the ego, the death of your old self can be painful. It's a grieving process. You're letting go of everything you thought you were, everything you thought you needed to be, in order to make space for the new, higher version of yourself. As you approach your quantum leap, the universe will test you. It will push you to your limits, not because you're being punished, but because you're being stretched. Growth requires expansion, and expansion is uncomfortable. You're being stretched beyond your current capacity so that you can hold more energy, more wisdom, more abundance. But in order for that to happen, your old container, your old self, has to be broken apart. This is why so many people never make it to the leap. They hit the breaking point and they retreat. They go back to what's comfortable, to what's familiar, even if it's not where they're meant to be. They feel the pressure, the pain, and they think, this is too much. I can't handle this. But here's the truth, you can handle this. You were built for this. You were chosen for this journey because you have the strength, the resilience, and the courage to endure the breaking point and come out the other side transformed. So, let me ask you, what are you afraid to let go of? What part of your old identity are you still clinging to, even though you know it's holding you back? Is it the fear of failure? The fear of rejection? The belief that you're not worthy of the leap you're about to take? Whatever it is, recognize that this fear, this old belief, is what's causing your spiritual pain. It's the thing that's being broken apart right now, and the more you resist it, the more painful the process becomes. But if you can surrender, if you can trust that this breaking point is necessary for your growth, then you'll find that the pain begins to transform. It's no longer something to fear. It's something to embrace. Because on the other side of that pain, on the other side of that breaking point, is your quantum leap. The leap into the top 1%, the leap into the version of yourself that you've always known deep down you're meant to be. Now, I want you to imagine something. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself standing at the edge of a cliff. Below you is everything you've ever known, your old life, your old habits, your old ways of thinking. It's safe down there, but it's also limiting. Ahead of you is the unknown. It's vast, it's mysterious, and it's terrifying. But it's also where your leap lies. The only way to get there is to jump, and that jump requires faith. Faith in yourself. Faith in the process. Faith that the universe is not leading you astray, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. Because here's the truth. The universe is never wrong. It knows exactly what it's doing, and it's orchestrating this entire process to prepare you for your leap. The pain you're feeling right now is not a sign that you're off course. It's a sign that you're right where you need to be. You're on the brink of something extraordinary, and the universe is asking you to trust, to let go, to leap. So, I'll ask you again, are you ready? Are you ready to let go of everything that's holding you back and step into the unknown? Are you ready to endure the breaking point, knowing that it's leading you to your quantum leap? Because the truth is, the only thing standing between you and your leap is your willingness to let go. Now, let's talk about the leap itself. We've been building up to this moment, the point where you stand at the edge and face the unknown. This is where the chosen ones are separated from the rest. It's where most people shrink back, but it's also where those who are truly ready step forward. The quantum leap is not just a shift in your reality, it's a shift in your identity. And this is where the magic happens. But let's be real, the leap isn't just about wanting something different. It's about becoming someone different. You might have heard the phrase, "To have more, you must become more." It's more than just a catchy quote, it's a spiritual law. You can't experience a quantum leap by staying the same version of yourself that you've always been. That version of you rooted in fear, doubt, or scarcity can't handle the magnitude of where you're going. So the leap is twofold. It's both an external transformation and an internal one. But here's the thing, the leap into the unknown is terrifying. No matter how much you desire change, the prospect of completely letting go of control, of stepping into a reality where you have no guarantees, no certainties, it's overwhelming. This is why so many people never take the leap. They stand at the edge, looking down, and the fear grips them. They think about all the things that could go wrong. They ask themselves, what if I fail? What if I'm not ready? What if I lose everything? But the real question they should be asking is, what if this leap is the key to unlocking everything I've ever wanted? You see, the quantum leap doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It doesn't happen when you're playing small or staying safe. It happens when you're willing to push beyond the limits of what you think is possible. And here's where the top 1% secret comes into play. The chosen ones don't wait until they feel ready. They don't wait until every piece of the puzzle is in place. They leap before they're ready. They leap when it's uncomfortable, when it's scary, when it feels impossible. And that's exactly why they make it to the other side. But let's get practical for a moment. How do you actually take a quantum leap? It's one thing to talk about it, but how do you do it? The first step is understanding that the leap doesn't happen in one dramatic, Hollywood-like moment. It happens in micro-decisions. It happens in the choices you make every day that align you with the future you desire. So, if you want to experience a quantum leap, you must begin by acting as though you've already made it. You must embody the energy of the person who has already taken that leap. What would the leap version of you do? How would they think? How would they show up in the world? This is where the real work begins. It's not about waiting for some magical moment where everything falls into place. It's about creating that moment through your daily actions, thoughts, and habits. The chosen ones don't wait for the universe to give them permission to leap. They give themselves permission. They act in alignment with their highest self, even when their current reality hasn't yet caught up. For example, let's say you're on the verge of a massive shift in your career. You know you're destined for something greater, but you're still stuck in a job that doesn't fulfill you. The quantum leap isn't just quitting your job and hoping for the best. It's about becoming the person who already has the career, the business, the life you desire. It's about showing up to that job every day with the energy of someone who knows they're on the brink of something huge. It's about making decisions from a place of abundance and confidence, rather than fear and scarcity. The leap happens in the subtle shifts in the way you speak to yourself, in the way you handle challenges, in the way you approach opportunities. And here's the secret. The universe responds to your energy, not your intentions. You can have all the intentions in the world to make a quantum leap, but if your energy is rooted in fear, doubt, or hesitation, the universe will mirror that back to you. But if you start showing up with the energy of someone who has already leapt, the universe has no choice but to align with that. Let's talk more about energy. Everything is energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, they all carry a frequency. And that frequency determines what you attract into your life. So if you're constantly vibrating at the frequency of fear, lack, or doubt, you'll continue to experience more of that. But when you shift your energy to match the frequency of your quantum leap, you start to attract the opportunities, the people, and the experiences that are in alignment with that. This is why the chosen ones are able to experience quantum leaps that seem impossible to others. It's not because they have some secret advantage or special talent. It's because they've mastered the art of aligning their energy with the reality they desire, even when their current circumstances don't reflect it. They live in a state of energetic congruence with their future self. And because of that, the universe bends to meet them. But here's the deep question I want you to sit with. What energy are you embodying right now? Are you vibrating at the frequency of someone who is ready for a quantum leap, or are you still stuck in the energy of fear, doubt, and limitation? Be brutally honest with yourself, because the truth is you can only leap as far as your energy allows. Now, here's something else that most people don't realize about quantum leaps. You don't have to do it alone. The universe is not asking you to figure it out all by yourself. In fact, when you're on the verge of a quantum leap, you'll start to notice that the universe sends you help, but only if you're open to receiving it. This help might come in the form of a mentor, a book, a new opportunity, or even a seemingly random conversation with a stranger. But the key is that you must be willing to accept the help that's being offered. Are you open to receiving help from the universe? Or are you still trying to control every aspect of your journey? Because when you're willing to let go of control and trust that the universe has your back, you create space for miracles to happen. You create space for the leap to unfold in ways you could never have planned or predicted. The quantum leap is not just about effort. It's about alignment. It's about surrendering to the flow of the universe and trusting that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The chosen ones understand this. They know that the leap doesn't happen through sheer force of will. It happens through a delicate balance of action and surrender. It happens when you take bold, inspired action and then release the need to control the outcome. So, let me ask you, are you ready to trust the process? Are you ready to leap even when you don't have all the answers? Because the truth is, you'll never have all the answers, but you don't need them. You just need to trust yourself, trust the universe, and take the leap anyway. So, you've leapt. You've done the thing that most people are too afraid to do. You've stepped into the unknown, and now here you are on the other side. But what happens after the leap? What does life look like once you've crossed that threshold? This is the part that no one talks about enough. We hear all about the leap itself, about the courage it takes, about the transformation it brings, but what about the aftermath? How do you integrate the new version of yourself? How do you sustain the shift so that you don't fall back into old patterns? Here's the truth. The leap is just the beginning. It's not the end game. It's the first step into a whole new reality, a reality that you've never navigated before. And this new reality requires you to show up in ways that you've never had to before. It requires you to embody the higher version of yourself every single day. Because here's the thing about quantum leaps. Once you take one, you can never go back to the way things were. You might be tempted to, but deep down, you know there's no returning to your old life, your old mindset, your old way of being. You're different now. You've expanded. You've broken through the limitations that once held you back. But here's the challenge. The world around you might not have caught up yet. Your external reality might still look the same in some ways. You might still be surrounded by the same people, the same circumstances, the same situations. And this can create tension. You've shifted internally, but the world hasn't fully reflected that shift yet. It's like you've been upgraded to a new operating system, but the old programs are still running in the background. So how do you integrate the new you? How do you ensure that you sustain the shift and continue to operate from this higher level of consciousness even when the world around you is still catching up. The first step is to recognize that integration is a process, not an event. Just like the leap itself, it's not something that happens all at once. It's something that unfolds over time, through your choices, your actions, and your consistent alignment with your new self. Integration requires patience. You may feel like you want everything to change instantly, that your external reality should immediately reflect your internal transformation. But that's not how it works. The physical world operates on a different timeline than the spiritual world. In the spiritual realm, your leap has already happened. You've already stepped into your new reality. But in the physical world, there's often a delay. It takes time for your external circumstances to shift and align with the new frequency that you're operating at. This is why it's so important to stay grounded after a quantum leap. You've just undergone a massive transformation, and it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of it all. But if you don't stay grounded, if you don't take the time to integrate, you risk losing your footing. You risk getting swept up in the high of the leap without fully anchoring yourself in this new reality. And this is where many people fall back. They leap, but they don't integrate. They experience the shift, but they don't do the necessary work to sustain it. And eventually they find themselves slipping back into old patterns, old habits, old ways of being. Are you willing to do the work of integration? Because that's what it takes to sustain a quantum leap. The leap itself is just the catalyst. The real challenge, the real transformation happens in the integration. It happens in the way you show up every day, in the way you navigate your relationships, your work, your life from this new, elevated state of being. Let's talk about relationships for a moment, because this is one of the areas where the aftermath of a quantum leap is often the most challenging. Not everyone in your life will understand the leap you've taken. Not everyone will resonate with the new version of you. And this can be painful, especially when it comes to people you've been close to for a long time. You might notice that certain relationships start to feel out of alignment, that some people no longer vibe with the energy you're bringing. This is one of the hardest parts of the integration process, realizing that not everyone is meant to come with you on this next phase of your journey. But here's the thing, you can't dim your light to make others comfortable. You can't shrink back into your old self just to maintain relationships that no longer serve your highest good. As you integrate your quantum leap, you must be willing to let go of the people, the situations, and the environments that are no longer in alignment with your new frequency. And I know that's not easy. It can feel like loss. It can feel like you're being asked to let go of everything familiar, everything comfortable. But remember, what's falling away is only making space for what's meant to come. The chosen ones, those operating at the top 1%, understand this on a deep level. They know that as they evolve, their external world will evolve with them. It's the law of resonance. As you vibrate at a higher frequency, you will naturally attract people, opportunities, and experiences that match that frequency. But in order for that to happen, you must be willing to release what no longer resonates. So, here's the deep question I want you to ask yourself. What needs to fall away in your life right now? What relationships, beliefs, or habits are no longer in alignment with the new version of you? This is where the real work of integration happens, in the willingness to let go of everything that's holding you back from fully embodying your quantum leap. But it's not just about letting go. It's also about calling in the new. As you integrate your quantum leap, you must be intentional about the energy you're surrounding yourself with. This means seeking out relationships, environments, and opportunities that support your new level of consciousness. It means aligning yourself with people who are on a similar path, who understand the journey you've been on, and who can support you in continuing to grow and expand. And here's the secret: the universe will always meet you where you are. If you're vibrating at a higher frequency, the universe will bring you higher frequency experiences. But you must be open to receiving them. You must be willing to say yes to the opportunities that are in alignment with your leap, even if they feel unfamiliar or uncomfortable at first. Because here's the thing about quantum leaps: they take you into new territory. You're navigating a reality that you've never experienced before, and that requires a new level of trust, a new level of openness. Are you willing to trust yourself? Are you willing to trust that the universe is guiding you, even when you don't have all the answers? Because the truth is, the leap doesn't end when you land on the other side. The leap continues as you integrate, as you expand, as you grow into this new version of yourself. The leap is a journey, not a destination. And here's the most beautiful part: once you've leapt, you're limitless. You've proven to yourself that you can transcend your limitations, that you can step into the unknown and come out the other side transformed. And once you've done it once, you can do it again. The chosen ones know this. They don't stop at one leap. They continue to evolve, to grow, to leap again and again, each time stepping into a higher version of themselves. So I'll leave you with this final question: what's your next leap? Because the journey never ends. There's always more to discover, more to expand into, more to become. You are limitless, and the universe is ready to meet you at your next leap, whenever you're ready to take it.